Okay, so we'll start off right here at this corner of our garden, and here we have the cantaloupe vines that I planted by seed, and they're doing fairly well, but they're not. I don't think they're as big as they should be. Most other melon or squash type plants should be quite a bit bigger than this by now, but these are summer plant. This is a summer plant, so it should do fine, and you can see the blossoms on it, so hopefully we'll get quite a few cantaloupes from that. Over here we have the beans. I planted 2 rows of beans. One row never even came up, this row right here, and then this row right here, only about a little more than half of it came up. So I really need to replant those, or replant some beans in those rows again, but the ones that did come up seem to be doing pretty well. These are purple beans. I don't know if you can tell that very well, but yeah, some of these need to be harvested there. And then there's green beans there, and more purple beans up here. There's some right here that need to be picked too. So looks like they're ready to be picked. So those seem to be doing pretty well. And then let's see, we have 4, 5 pepper plants, and we made the mistake of planting them too close to the tomato plants that are taking over. And I think they've been stunted in their growth because they're not getting enough sunlight. So we may not have very many peppers this year. We don't eat very many peppers, so that shouldn't be that big of a problem. But these big plants here, as I'm sure you know, are tomato plants. And when I left the last time, which was a couple weeks ago, they were below the tomato cages, and now you can see most of them are up and out the top of them. So they've gone pretty crazy, especially these yellow pear tomatoes. And we've only gotten 2 or 3 tomatoes ripened from them, but these are going to start ripening really, really quickly. And as you can tell, I mean, it's just loaded with blossoms and green tomatoes. I'll show you what they look like unripe. So they're just like a pear shape, and they're yellow when they're ripe, but they're the size of a cherry tomato, so that's why they're called yellow pear cherry tomatoes. Aha! I see one that, actually 2 that are ripe. There you go. That's what they look like. And they are delicious. They have really good taste. So we're gonna really enjoy having a bunch of those tomatoes. These tomatoes over here are a different kind than the yellow pear tomatoes, and they are this plant right here and the third plant over, if you can tell. Those are purple Cherokee tomatoes. We've never planted that kind before, and they are doing really well. In fact, in my experience in gardening, my whole experience of gardening, that I can remember, I've never seen any tomato plants that have done this well. And of course, I mean, I can only say that so far because we haven't actually had any that have, well, we've had a couple that have ripened, but I mean, we gotta wait definitely until the end, until we see how much we have as a harvest. But still, I mean, even up to this point, it's just blowing my mind to see the size of these tomatoes. Normally we would have like a blossom end rot or something on the tomatoes when they would get that big, Actually, they wouldn't even get that big for one thing, but when they would get large, they would have blossom and rot. So it's incredible. And maybe we'll be able to escape the squirrels and the birds because of the fact that they'll be purple and not a bright red. So maybe that will help us out too. But it's just incredible to me, and I'm sure you'll probably be amazed once you see. I mean, even with this size right there, that's a good size right there, okay? But that's not even our biggest. Our biggest isn't even that. It's bigger than that right there. And let me tell you, that's pretty big. That's probably the size of my fist or a little bigger. Right here, that's not even our biggest, and that's bigger than the last one. I'll show you our biggest. It's over here on this plant. There it is, right there. I mean, it's gigantic. And this is an heirloom variety, I believe, and it seems to me that heirloom varieties sometimes have odd shapes and stuff, with these little, like these indentions right here. But I don't believe that's a sign of them being unhealthy or anything. I just think that's the variety of tomato plants. That's just how they look. Another thing that's amazing to me is if you go back to some video that we took before, you could see this. These tomato plants were almost killed in a frost back in April, I believe. But I mean, look at them. You can't even tell. I mean, this one out here at the end, I'm not quite sure what's wrong with it. It doesn't look very healthy. But hey, all the others are going to make up for that, I've got to say. So that's that with the tomatoes. Tomatoes are a fun plant to grow, I'll tell you that. Especially when they actually produce and give you a lot of them. You can do so much with tomatoes. There are the rest of our onions. We harvested probably about half of them, maybe about a week and a half or 2 weeks ago. So those did really well. I never done onions before. They're super easy to do. So if you're wanting to do gardening for the first time, onions are definitely a good one to start off with. They're easy, pretty inexpensive to get a set of onions from a local garden store, and they're easy, like I said. So here, the radishes, they're doing great. We don't eat very many radishes. I wish I could send some via YouTube to my subscribers, but hey. Anyway, so there's our garden. And last but not least, we have the big peach tree, which we've already gotten probably 2 or 3 5-gallon bucket full of peaches that off the tree, and hopefully you can tell, but the tree is still loaded down with peaches. So we're going to be getting plenty of those in the next few weeks. And I had one today, and they are amazing tasting. 100 times better than you'll ever get in the store. So, good day, and keep up with your gardening if you're into that kind of thing. Thanks for watching.